Okay, so good day to each and everyone. Today we will be having our discussions about the basic skills of Taekwondo, which is the punches, kicks, and of course, blocks. So there's a lot of skills that we need to learn, but I separated those basic and of course, the advanced, because if we study about advanced, it takes a lot of trainings or practices if we want to know about those advanced. So we're going to study the basic skills. And of course, let's consider ourselves that we have to consider that ourselves we have to consider ourselves that we are all beginners. Okay, so let's start with the basic skills with the punches. Okay. Okay, so when we say punches, guys, this is the chiruge, or what we call the Korean or Hangul terms for the punches. And of course, Taekwondo punches or chiruge provides the Korean names for these various Taekwondo punches. So there's a lot of Korean names and of course Korean terms for those Taekwondo punches. Pero i-translate ko na sa ating English in order for us to understand what are those kinds of punches. And of course, those are the basics lang. So wag na nating aaralin yung advanced um, advanced skills. Okay, so let's start with the jab. Okay, so a jab is a quick flick of the fist on your forward arm. Let's say, for example, you're going to have your punch, and of course, it's a quick flick, and of course, you were striking on the air. So, though this this kind of punch is the most basic way on how to do punches in Taekwondo. Okay, so this Taekwondo punch is generally used for defense and keeping your opponent away from you. Okay, so this Taekwondo this is the punches which is generally used, meaning this is the most used punches in execution or in sparring or in competitions. Okay, so to keep your opponent player away from you. So it is basically you're going to attack the uh, opponent player using your hand job or hand fist. Okay, that is the basic and of course most used um, punches in Taekwondo. Next, we have the reverse punch or rear arm punch or what we call the straight punch. So unlike in job, it is like more on chilling. Okay, chill lang yung pagsusuntok mo. But here in a straight punch, you have the standard power in order for you to create a great impact in your taekwondo competition. So the standard power taekwondo punch where you hit with your rear arm. Okay, so that's why they call it a reverse punch or rear arms, because the power on this punch, it is nagmumula siya sa rear arms natin. And of course, to generate greater power, you have to rotate your body towards your opponent as you punch. Okay, parang ibibuelo mo siya in order to create power. Okay, so that is the straight punch and of course rear arm punch or the reverse punch. Next, we have the uppercut. Okay, so when we say uppercut, it is more on boxing or in mixed martial arts, in Muay Thai. Okay, but also we do uppercut in Taekwondo. Okay, so this is basic, but I tell you guys, this is also dangerous kind of punch. Okay, so it is by simply swinging your punch upwards to strike the bottom of the jaw or into the ribs. Okay, so the direction of your hands or your fist is going upwards. Okay, so it may be a strike your bottom of the jaw if hindi ka iilag or your ribs. Okay? So, it is, sabi kong dangerous kasi nga, natatamaan niya yung jaw natin, and of course, if maganda yung pagkakagawa niya ng uppercut sa'yo, pwede kang mawalan ng malay or mawalan ng hininga or mawalan ng buhay or something like that. Okay? So, that is uppercut. Okay? So, the position or the direction of your hands is going upward. Okay? And of course, next we have the hook punch. So from the word itself, hook, So short, compact punches that hook sideways and can get around a person's guard. Okay? So hook punch, the position of your arms is like a hook. And of course, nanggagaling yung power niya sa sideways mo. And of course, if ginagawa yan kapag naka-cover yung kalaban sa face niya, and of course, you do hook punch in order to punch his or her face or something like that. But also, I tell you guys, this is a very dangerous kind of punch. Okay, so this is not a wild haymaker type punch, but this is very dangerous. Okay, so let's be careful in doing those punches, because it although they are very basic, but they are very dangerous. Okay, if the opponent player or your kalaban is skilled, so maari kang mawalan ng malay. Okay, and of course we have hammer fist. So a hammer fist, guys, is making a clenched fist, but instead of hitting with your knuckles, you strike your opponent with the padded side of your fist or the nam thumb side. And of course, the position of your arm is like a hammer. And of course, you're going to strike the opponent's head and of course, opponent's shoulder. Okay, so that's why they call it hammer, because the position of your arm is like is in is like a hammer. Okay, so that is the hammer fist. And of course, we have the palm strike, throat strike, or elbow strike. So those concept, or they get that concept in the neighboring country of Korea, which is the China, because they are very famous in kung fu, diba? So those palm strike, throat strike, is elbow strike, is nanggaling siya talaga sa kung fu, hindi yun na-develop ng taekwondo. Okay, so let's start with the palm strike or palm heel strike. So when we say palm strike, use the bottom of your palm or the padded part to strike an opponent's chin or nose, and of course, etc. So it is simply by opening your hands like this. Okay, ang pinagkaiba nila ni jab is naka-close si jab, while the palm strike is naka-open yung palm natin. And of course, the position is like this, and of course, we have to be more firm or gain firmness in this part, because ito yung tinatama natin sa or ini-strike natin sa opponents, and of course, para malakas yung impact din. Okay? So it is basically you're going to use your palm to strike a opponent player. Okay? Next, we have the throat strike or the tiger claw. Okay? Form your hand into an arc and attack an opponent's throat. Okay? So in Taekwondo, it is often called the tiger claw strike. However, I think it is more like a crab claw. Okay, so this concept is nakuha nga sa Kung Fu, because in Kung Fu, guys, they are imitating or they are adopting the movement of some animals they choose para nang sa ganun makapag-create sila ng panibagong style in combating. Okay, so those animals like tiger, cat, eagle, snake, I don't know kung meron pang dragon or lion, something like that. Okay, so madalas hindi siya ginagawa sa exhibition or sa sparring, because it is somehow nito, sarcastic, medyo brutal ang pagkakagawa ng throat strike, kasi nga ang inaatake nito is the throat of the opponent player. Okay, and of course, last we have the elbow strike. So from the word itself, elbow, we have to use your elbow to strike the target, such as an opponent's head. Okay, so this is devastating taekwondo strike when you use in close. Okay, pero madalas hindi siya ginagamit, because yun nga, tulad ng throat strike, it is very sarcastic or tawag nito, brutal yung pagkakagawa. Okay? Pero somehow, ginagamit siya in order for you to defend yourself if you encounter danger, di ba? So, your elbow is made up of much thicker bone than bones in your fist. So, yung mga bones natin dito, it is made up of ligaments or tendons, something like that. And of course, dito, bones and muscles lang talaga ang nandito, kaya mas magalaki yung impact if we do the elbow strike. And those are some examples of basic but dangerous taekwondo punches. Okay, let's start with the basic taekwondo kicks. And of course, after this, we will going to watch a video on YouTube in order for you to understand, okay, why we do this basic taekwondo kicks. Okay, so let's start with the stretch axe kick or stretch kick or axe kick. So a high axe kick axe kick is useful to striking your opponent's head and of course your collarbone. So it is characterized by a strengthened leg without a heel descending onto the opponent's like the blade of an axe. Okay, so the way we perform this kind of kick, we have to hit the opponent's head or collarbone using the blade of our foot or the blade of our toes. Okay, that's why they called it axe kick. So naintindihan? So stretch kick or axe kick. So mostly ang tinatamaan niyan is our head or our collarbone. And of course, we have in out or out in or crescent kick. So basically, crescent kick is we will be forming a curve line or arc line or half moon in the air if we do this kind of kicks. Okay, so cover inner and outer crescent. So it starts from inside to outside kick or pwede ring reciprocal outside to inside kick. And of course, let's have the front kick. So a front kick is useful for hitting your opponent in the groin or doing snap kick to the chin. Okay? So the front kick and of course axe kick almost they are the same. But 'di ba kanina ang axe kick if we have to hit the opponent's collarbone or the head using the blade of our foot, but this front kick is we are going to hit the opponents using the sole of our foot. Okay, something like that. Okay, yun yung pinagkaiba nila. So involves raising the knee a foot of the striking legs to the desired height and extending the leg to contact the target. So the full control is in the player, is in you kung gaano kataas yung gagawin mong front kick. So yung front kick, it is the most basic kick among all kicks in Taekwondo. Okay, that is front kick. And of course, we have the 45-degree kick. So it is a kick for mid-level. Okay, so it makes good for body kick, especially for the lungs and liver. So mostly ang tinatamaan yan guys is the ribs or sideways natin or pwede rin sa legs natin as a opponent player. Okay, so it is really good to our body, especially for the lungs and liver, if we do the 45-degree kick exercise because it's they recommended this exercise it is really good to the lungs and liver because na-exercise yun na-exercise yung lungs and liver natin by doing this kind of kick 45-degree kick. Okay, and of course we have the last basic kick, which is the side kick, and mind you guys that this one is a very iconic um, kind of basic kick in Taekwondo. Okay, so a Taekwondo side kick is an effective self-defense kick, especially if this aim at the knee. So kung makikita nyo dito guys, in our lower part of our screen, we have the side kick logo. Okay, so that is the side kick. And of course, the power of this kind of kick, it is nagmumula siya or the foundation of this kick is in your knee. Okay, so a Taekwondo player must develop or gain power to his or her knee para nang sa ganun mas maganda yung impact if you do side kick. Okay, if you do this kind of kick. Okay, so let's watch a video from YouTube in order for us to understand those basic kicks. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's continue our discussion. Okay, so that is the examples. Those are the examples of six basic kicks in Taekwondo. So let's continue our discussion. So let's have the basic Taekwondo blocks. So mind you guys, these two kinds of basic Taekwondo blocks is you have to really understand this because um, this is very useful in doing your Taekwondo Form 1, okay, and Form 2, okay? And of course, maraming mga kinds ng Taekwondo blocks but ito lang yung napili ko na pinaka-basic. Those two are the most, they are the most basic among the Taekwondo blocks. Okay, so we have the upper blocks and of course downward blocks. So under upper blocks, we have the upper right block and of course upper left block. And under downward blocks, we have the downward right block and of course downward left block. Okay, so that ends our discussion for this hour. And of course, we'll be having our activity that is doing or creating a video or recording of yourself doing those basic skills in Taekwondo. Okay, so for further information about this activity, you can check our LMS for our instructions. And of course, you can join in our private Facebook group wherein isisend ko yung links sa GC natin mamaya. And don't worry, I'll be sending this also the copy of the instructions in our GC in order for us to have a access of information. Okay? And of course, ipapasa natin yan next week pa naman, but if you have time na, you can do it na. Okay, so please follow instructions. And of course, if you have questions about this kind of activity, you have to ask me, or you can have your messenger or chat on me on messenger. Parang sa ganun, if meron kayong hindi nalilito kayo sa about sa gagawin, para mas ma-enlighten kayo about this. Okay, so wag kayong mahihiyang i-chat ako sa messenger. Okay, so that is our discussion or brief discussion for this day. And of course, God bless and keep safe everyone. Goodbye.